So hi guys, my name is Nachiketa. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can shortlist universities for studying masters abroad. Now, this is probably the most important thing in your application process because you want your university list to be right, because the application process is gonna cost a lot, right? You're probably gonna be spending at least around $100 for each application you send in. So when you're spending so much on your application process, you want to get the shortlisting done right. You can pay a counselor to do that for you, but even if somebody else give you a list of university, you have to do your thorough research. And there are some very underrated and highly effective techniques that you should definitely use for shortlisting universities, and I'm going to talk about that later in the video. But to get started, let's start by defining what constitutes a good list of universities, right? So when you're applying, right, your ideal list should be a good mixture of ambitious universities, moderate universities, and safe universities. How do you decide which university falls into which category, and what are these terms exactly? So ambitious university would be a university in which the average class profile would be probably way better than yours, right? And it's your dream university. You have a low chance of getting in, but with the right application, say a great statement of purpose, great LORs, you have a small amount of chance of getting in. But since it's a very great university, you still want to apply. Moderate university is where your profile is similar to the average class profile. Maybe it could be a little lower, maybe it could be a little higher, so you have a decent chance of getting into that university. Safe university is a university where you have a very strong chance of getting in. It's more like a backup university, and your profile should be way better than the average class profile if you want to consider it as a safe university. A university list should have a good mix of these three universities. Now, coming to the more important part, let's say you're just getting started with your shortlisting process. How do you get a broad list of universities, and how do you effectively filter it down? It's a very intensive research process, and there are so many techniques that you have to use. I'm going to show you a lot of effective techniques. You have to use all of them. Do not use one in isolation, and do not be lazy when it comes to your shortlisting, right? So let's look at all the techniques and how you can get the best list of universities. So the first thing that you do is going to seem very basic, but yes, you directly have to search in Google, right? So let's say I'm looking for US universities. Search best US universities, MS in whatever program you're looking for, say CS, right? And you'll get a list of universities, and the most trusted ranking page out there is US News, right? And you can search this for any program, and when you open this link, you'll get a list of universities, right? You can check for different majors as well, right? So you say universities which are in the top 10, right, are automatically gonna be ambitious for almost every student, right? So before even starting the shortlisting, you already have probably some idea about how good your profile is, right? How good your GPA is, how good your GRE scores are, what work ex you have. So you probably have a very faint idea. According to that, you can say look for the top universities, or you can proceed to lower ranked universities as you scroll down as well, right? Similarly, you can search this for any program. Do this, but along with this, right, also what you can do is go to this website called yockit.in, right? I'm going to leave a link in the description as well, right, which is a very popular study abroad platform. And let's say you go to universities, right? You can search for top universities in any country, and you can filter it out according to the course as well. So let's say I go to top universities in USA, right? And you'll get a list. Of course, you can search according to the tuition fees. You want public or private universities, and you want, say, a particular course. Let's say I'm looking for data science. So you'll get a list for the best universities in the field of data science. Internally there, you're going to be using the US News ranking itself. This is good because you get a lot of information. You get information about the tuition fees as well, right? What is the acceptance rate? This will also give you a good idea. If it has a low acceptance rate, it is likely to be ambitious. This is just one step. You can look for higher ranked universities. Let's say you're looking for lower ranked universities. It's upon you, right? So let's say I select one university. In this case, let's take University of Washington, right? So I'm going to tell you how to exactly classify a university as ambitious, moderate, or safe. But before that, a very important thing that you need to do is you have to look at certain factors which are gonna help you filter out universities, and it's very important I talk about that now. When looking at a university, there are a few very important things that you have to consider. First one is the location of the university. This is very important. In location, you have to look at two things. A, the weather or climate of the place, right? And B is the job opportunities over there, right? So for example, if there's someone who hates cold climate, right, he'll probably filter out most places in say Canada, right, or even the United States. He might prefer places in say California or Texas, right? So weather is a small factor and it depends upon individual how importance you give to the weather. But second more important thing is the job opportunities available, right? So when you're getting a university, right, so aside from the university being good, it's also important that you have a good amount of job opportunities in that particular area, right? For example, if somebody is looking for say a master's in CS, right, if he gets a university anywhere near Silicon Valley or say just in California, right, you're gonna have a lot of job opportunity. Similarly in Seattle as well. If somebody is looking for financial firms, New York has amazing amount of opportunities over there. There are so many financial firms as well as tech firms that anyone who's doing a major in these fields is gonna likely find a lot of job opportunities. So the point is that if say you get a good ranked university in a place where there are not good job opportunities versus a lower ranked university in a place where there are more job opportunities, you should definitely go for the place which has more job opportunities, right? So this trade-off needs to be kept in mind, right? So it's not like you will sacrifice say a top 20 ranked university for a 100th ranked university in California. No, but if the universities are similar, right, then you can make this trade-off. The next thing that you should consider about a university when deciding whether you want to go there or not is the total cost of the program, right? So obviously you'll want a program that costs less, right? And it depends upon how much you're ready to spend, how much you're ready to take a loan, and if your parents are financing you or not. For example, Ivy League colleges are generally really expensive. Public universities tend to be cheaper than private universities because they have more funding, right? So whatever university you're selecting, you have to check the tuition cost of the program. So I showed you in Yorkit, you can directly filter universities depending upon their cost, or whenever you see a good ranking university, you check the tuition cost. If it's too high, you can directly filter it out, right? You wouldn't want to consider it at all. So this is another thing that you need to consider before shortlisting universities. Another thing that you need to look at is of course the ranking and the brand of the university, for which you can use Yorkit and US News. So these are factors that you consider before which university you would probably want to go in. The next most important thing is deciding whether that university falls into your ambitious, moderate or safe list. So I'm going to tell you how to exactly analyze that. So it's a very thoughtful process that you have to use, right? So let me go back to the Yorkit page of University of Washington. So let me show you what you can do. I've spent months perfecting this process of being able to analyze if a university would lie in my moderate, safe or ambitious list. So that's why I want you to understand this very carefully, right? So let's look at this page. So first of all, it ranks 10th according to US News, right? And you will see a lot of information about the acceptance rate. A very low acceptance rate probably pushes the university towards the more ambitious side for you, right? You can check the tuition fee, you can check whether it's public or private. Now the most important part is you can check the profiles of the students who were admitted to this university, right? So now you can see the profiles of students who got into these universities. You can check their GRE score, their TOEFL, IELTS, WorkX, undergrad, and a lot of things, right? If you click on these profiles, you'll be able to see more things like the research papers published, things like that. However, do not get too excited that you hit the jackpot and now you know everything about the university, because a lot of these profiles are fake, right? That's why I do not trust Yorkit for this thing, right? Because anyone can make an account, anyone can write anything over here. I've seen lots of accounts with the name of XYZ, so I do not trust this, right? So do not trust this. Maybe you can get a broad idea of how are people scoring, but it's very difficult, right? So do not trust this. Because this was a feature on the website, that's why I wanted to show you this. What you should do instead is very simple. Just go onto Google, right? So let me just Google University of Washington MS Data Science class profile. Whatever university you're searching for, search for its program and its class profile. Most universities will have it for most programs, right? So if it's CS, search for the CS class profile and it will show you the website's page. Where I can see the second link is the class profile, right? And in the class profile, there is gonna be lots of statistics, and I'm gonna tell you what you need to study and how you need to interpret that. So let me just click on this link. So I can see the class profile, right? So first of all, I can see from 900 applicants, 62 master students are selected for this program. Very competitive, which is a 12% acceptance rate, right? So in Yocket, it showed as 20% acceptance rate, but here for this particular program, this is even less, right? So I can see it's more competitive for this field, and that's why I shouldn't have directly trusted the Yocket's page as well. So university's website is the most authentic source. Now what else can you see? Look at the international student ratio. 59% is a pretty good number. Some universities will take say 5 or 10% international students. That will again push it towards the more ambitious side, right? If you're an international student, so you need to keep all of these factors in mind. Next, what you can see is how many years of professional experience it tells you, right? So in this case, there are 37 students, which is a majority, with 0 to 2 years of work ex. So if this number was say low, let's say there are only 5 to 10 students with 0 to 2 years of work ex, then if I'm a fresher, this university would become more on the ambitious side for me. So these are all the information that you need to take in. You can see the undergraduate majors as well, right? Are they accepting students from different branches, right? Is the information that's help you gonna decide whether you fit in or not, right? And based on that, you can decide how difficult it's gonna be for you, right? Now let me show another university, right, which does not have information presented in this nice format, which is Carnegie Mellon University. If you simply search for Carnegie Mellon University, you would not find a class profile page, right? What I search is MS CDS, basically stands for computational data science, which is basically the data science program, but it's named differently. And I search for average score, right? For any university, you can check the average scores, average GRE scores, average TOEFL scores. Concept remains the same. If you're near the average, it will probably around your moderate. If the average score is too high, then your score, then it's shifting towards the ambitious side. And if you, of course, you're higher than the average score, if you have more work ex than the average student, then that university is gonna move toward the safer side. So I check the average score. Again, a lot of university will not have, but everyone will have an FAQ section in which a lot of questions are answered about their scores, about their stuff like that. So for Carnegie Mellon University, I can see that the minimum GPA is 3, right? And I can see the TOEFL score requirement, right? And over here it's written that MS, this program students, 90% of the students exceed a score of 100, right? So if you're just on 100, this college is already moving towards the ambitious, right? Of course, your profile is a holistic review, but I'm separating individual components so that you can make a better analysis, right? So that's what you have to do, right? Of course, they have mentioned that there is no minimum GRE or GPA requirement, but a previous academic performance is the strongest predictor of success, which means they do want good academics, right? Now every FAQ section will answer a lot of questions like this, right? So next question is, do you need an undergrad degree in a field outside of computer science? And it says that if you have done undergrad courses in statistics or computer science, they prefer that, right? So if you do not have this, again, this college is going to be ambitious, right? Just based on the aspect of college courses. In this way, you have to analyze many other components, like what's the average scores like? Are they preferring work experience? Are they preferring high CGPA? Are they preferring research publications? Are they preferring my undergraduate major in a particular course? There's another question about research publications, right? They have mentioned that publications are not required, right? But some of their admitted students have publication already, right? Which means the average student would probably have a publication. If you do not, this again towards the ambitious side. So let's say based on this FAQ section only, if you're a student, say who has no research publications, who has no work experience, and let's say who has a degree outside of computer science, and let's say who has an average TOEFL score of say 102, then this university is definitely in the ambitious side, and you'll have to write a very strong statement of purpose and LOR to have a decent amount of chance, right? If you have some amount of work ex, if you have some amount of publication, this could be in the moderate, and if you exceed everything in all aspects, then this would be in the safer side. But university with such a ranking would probably never not be in the safer side for anyone. So that's how you do an analysis, right? For every university, search their average profile. If you do not have it, search the average scores. In the FAQ section, they're going to mention a lot of stuff. Do they prefer work ex? Do they not? And then you have to match everything with your own profile. and you have to keep in a lot of factors like how many international students they're taking in, what is general batch size, right? So this is one thing. Another very, very powerful thing that you can do other than the university website is using LinkedIn, right? This is the most underrated thing there is. I'm telling you, LinkedIn is such an amazing platform. Do not use Facebook or Instagram. LinkedIn is a professional platform. So when you go to LinkedIn, right, you can search a specific degree and a specific branch, and you will get a list of all the seniors who attended that particular university. For example, if you search masters data science Columbia University, you will get a list of all the seniors who attended over there. And what you can do is you can do two things, which is first, you can directly contact them, and over here you have to be very careful. You have to be respectful of their time. They do not owe you anything. They're probably very busy. They have lots of juniors contacting them. So just leave them a message saying that, hey, I'm an aspirant for this university. I saw your profile. I do not want to take much of your time, and I'm sorry to disturb you. If I am disturbing you, I just want to know this. And you insert a question. It could be, do you have any idea about the average score in your profile, or what is the batch size in your particular year? Things like this, which you couldn't find on the university website, right? Now another amazing thing on LinkedIn you can do is you don't even need to contact them. For example, you simply go to the profile. So in this case, I'm going to go to my profile and tell you what you need to observe. I'm showing you what parts to observe in a profile. So for example, first thing, this is my profile, right? So you can see what college I went to, what was my bachelor major in, right? You already have one data point, and based on that you can make a comparison. Second, you observe the work ex. You can see how many years of work experience that a person had, right? Next, a lot of people will mention their scores in the exam as well. For example, you can see my TOEFL and GRE score over here. You can see my publications if I had any. If a person has other awards or something like that, you can also see that. Based on this, you can compare your own profile. Now this was just one profile, right? You can compare say 5 to 10 people from that university in that particular branch, and you'll be able to draw a pretty good average. Concept is same, right? If your profile is way better than the average student of that college, then it's in the safe side. If you're just on the average, you have a decent chance of getting in. It would be classified as moderate. And if it's way better than your profile in all these aspects, then it would lie towards the ambitious side. And that was it for this video. If you did like it, do like this video and subscribe to this channel. If there's anything else you want to see, do leave that in the comments, and see you in the next video.